students in Ireland, so it's great to see that our voice is going to be heard on a national level. There is also a few members of the media here, so if anyone wants to tell their story about their commute to college, their struggle in getting student accommodation, please come over to a member of the media at the end. So, thank you all for being with us today. For those of you who don't know, my name is Isabel and I'm the President of the Students' Union, and I'm here with Eva, the Vice President Welfare, and Oisín, the Vice President Education, and our part-time officers Éireann, Alma and Connor also. First of all, I would like to let everyone know that the goal of this student walkout is not just to raise awareness about the severe struggles that our students are facing day in and day out. It is also to let all struggling students know that they are not alone in this fight. And I, on behalf of MTU Cork Students' Union, want to let you all know that we are all here for you and we are ready and willing to fight for your rights and to ensure that your voice is heard by both the government and the college. We can't do it alone, so thank you so much for being here with us today. Some of you might already know, but this morning, so we said that there's no point in us just screaming and roaring inside the canteen. It won't make a difference to the powers that be. So this morning we staged a blockade on the car park that houses the highest authorities. We staged cars in front of the visitors car park and in front of there. And when they came in for 9 o'clock, because they always think that they're guaranteed their parking space, they had to go and find parking just like every single one of ye. I hope that they aren't silly and park on the grass where they're not supposed to be, or they might say a big yellow clamp on their car. So I have a few questions for you. Are you tired of having to commute to college every day because you cannot find affordable accommodation? If you have accommodation, are you tired of paying extremely high rents for substandard conditions? Are you tired of the bus driving past you every day because it's full? And are you tired of standing out in the rain because the bus stops aren't big enough for the amount of students and the buses simply can't take the amount of students that need to get them in the morning? We are calling on the government to increase investment into public transport and student accommodation. It's imperative that the frequency of public transport is increased, especially at peak times. Students are facing unbelievable levels of stress just to get to all of our campuses and to simply get an education. Day in and day out, students are waiting for buses to arrive in the mornings, and sometimes when they do arrive, they're already full. On the other hand, students are unable to get buses from certain towns, and because of these reasons, and due to the lack of affordable student accommodation, many students have to drive to college. I think that we can all agree that the bus routes to our university are completely inadequate, and we demand that the government work on improving this infrastructure immediately. Students cannot come to college if they have nowhere to live or if they have no way of getting there. So I have a few more questions for you, and I think these are going to really hit home. Are you tired of not being able to find a parking space day in and day out? Does it ruin your day when you come out of your long, hard day of classes to see a clamp on your car? And are you sick of not being able to find a seat on campus, in the canteen or in the student centre, which should be a basic right for all students? We are calling on MTU, the Institute Executive Board, to put a plan in place to support the growing numbers of students. MTU is fantastic at increasing student numbers, but it's evident that the infrastructure in the college is not efficiently providing adequate working and relaxing environment for our students. Students are stressed day in and day out, and it's not acceptable. During our time in the Students' Union, we have brought these important issues to the attention of college management, time and time again. Our pleas for solutions have fallen on deaf ears, and the answers have always been, it gets better in semester 2. Over the summer, there were proposals for park and rides and sourcing off-site car parking spaces in other venues. Ultimately, MTU spends too much time dwelling on decisions and simply misses opportunities to avail of solutions that present themselves. This lack of decision-making is having a massive effect on all students and staff, and we no longer will be putting up with it. We are calling on MTU to provide students and staff with an adequate parking solution. For example, an efficient, dedicated, and most importantly, affordable park and ride service, which would come into effect the day the students return to campus after the summer months. MTU are going to come back to us and say, yep, we'll do a park and ride for semester 2, but it's not going to work because everyone goes on placement or on Erasmus. There's no quick fix to this, and we're hoping by semester 1 next year, this problem will be eliminated completely. We also call for MTU to provide adequate infrastructure for current students, such as appropriate spaces which are conducive to a good learning environment. It's very hard to learn if you have to sit on the floor of your classroom because there's not enough seats for the amount of students in there. It's very hard to learn if there's a big leak coming out of the roof of the classroom you're in. And it's very hard to learn if you're in a prefab outside and it's about minus 140 degrees in there. Students are the future, and they are the reason why we are all here in MTU. It is great to see that MTU is erecting new buildings for future students, but it's evident that the current students are beginning to be forgotten about, and they have to suffer with the not fit for purpose buildings that are currently in place. Students should not be unable to get a third level education simply because the infrastructure does not meet their needs or because they can't find a parking space. We can no longer afford to stay quiet. As I said, there's no point in us just standing here and having our voices heard here. We need to let the college know that we are not happy with this and let them know that we will not be giving up. This is only the start of it. We're thinking that if there's no buy-in from the college to improve this or to get onto the government about improving the infrastructure of the buses, the next protest is going to be during the open day, which is when prospective students are coming to see just how good MTU is. So if we do plan on having that protest on that day, if we aren't seeing positive change from the college, we need you all to be there with us. We can't do it by ourselves. There's only 6 of us. We need all of you standing behind us and letting the college know that it's not okay. Another thing that I want you to do, you would have seen it on our Instagram, through the email, and there's also posters dotted around the room with "Have Your Say" written up on it. There's a QR code on those posters, and I want you to scan it. It brings you to a survey monkey, and I want you to tell us about your experience in MTU, how you've gotten on, the bad experiences you've had, the good experience you've had, your commute to college, and we will be presenting this to the college. And if we need to, it will be leaked to our lovely friends in the media as well. So I'm conscious that a few of you might want to go back to class. So we just want to take a quick picture of you all. If you all just put your hands in the air and do a big, I don't know, say a swear word or something at one stage. So everyone get ready. 3, 2, 1. And if you say, I'll say, what do we want? And you say respect. And I'll say, when do we want it? And you say now. So what do we want? Respect. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Respect. When do we want it? Now. And then I want you to say, students can't get an education. I'll say, students can't get an education unless they can get to college. So students can't get an education. Students can't get an education. Okay, and once more about the respect one, because I think the college are really lacking when it comes to giving you respect. So what do we want? Respect. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Respect. When do we want it? Now. Keep it up, guys. There's no strength without unity.